What if I told you your dog has an emotional life more complex than most people give them credit for, and that right now, today, they're experiencing something you've probably never once considered? Sit with that for a second. Think about the specific moment your dog looks at you. Not for food, not for the leash, just looks. Holds it for a beat longer than it needs to, then looks away. That moment has a name. It has a neurological explanation, and what it actually means about what they feel for you is about to change how you see them completely. 5 facts, each one more surprising than the last. For a long time, science said dogs don't really have emotions, not real ones. What we were seeing was just instinct wearing a costume, conditioned responses, survival mechanisms dressed up to look like love. And here's the thing, actually, hold on. That's not what the science says anymore, at all. The last 20 years of neuroscience completely flipped that story, and most dog owners still haven't gotten the memo. The old advice told us not to anthropomorphize, not to project feelings onto an animal that probably didn't have them. And correcting from that left millions of us systematically underestimating the animal asleep at our feet right now. This video is the update nobody sent you. Fact 3 is the one that honestly floored me, because it's about something your dog does when you're not even in the room. Something that has nothing to do with food or survival or habit. Something that only makes sense if they actually miss you. Stay through all 5. The last one especially. Fact 1, your dog has the emotional capacity of a 2-year-old human child. That comes from real research into canine cognition. Dr. Stanley Coren's work on this is the one most people cite, and it's solid. Dogs experience joy, fear, anger, disgust, contentment, love, what they don't have. What doesn't show up in human children until later either are the more layered, self-conscious emotions: shame, guilt, pride, contempt. That specific list matters more than it sounds like it should, because it means when your dog does something wrong and gives you the guilty look, the tucked body, the whale eye, the slow preemptive cringe before you've even said anything, that's not guilt. That's fear of your reaction. They learned that a certain energy coming off of you means something uncomfortable is about to happen. We've been punishing dogs for an emotion they're not even capable of feeling in response to a look that was never guilt to begin with. It was just them bracing for us. Think about the chewed shoe found an hour after the fact. Our instinct is to scold. Their response isn't remorse. It's confusion and fear layered on top of each other, aimed at someone they don't understand is angry about something that already happened. Fact 2. Dogs can smell your emotional state, literally. This is the one that earns shocking. When humans feel strong emotion, our bodies release chemical compounds, adrenaline, cortisol, shifts in sweat composition we don't even notice ourselves. Dogs have up to 300 million olfactory receptors. We have about 6 million. They can detect those compounds at concentrations we have no hope of sensing. They don't just read your body language or your tone. They smell the shift before you've even fully processed it yourself. You haven't said a word. You haven't moved differently. You're just sitting still, and your dog gets up, crosses the room, and puts their head in your lap because they smelled the change before you felt it. They're not responding to the face you show the world. They're responding to the actual chemistry of who you are in that exact moment. Fact 3. They seek out your scent when you're gone. Picture an empty house. Your dog, alone. Studies using heart rate monitoring and behavioral observation found that dogs left alone don't just wait passively. They actively seek out things that carry your scent. Your worn t-shirt on the bed, the cushion where you always sit, your pillow. They're not being destructive. They're not anxious in some clinical sense. They're using scent the way we use a photograph, a way of holding on to someone who isn't there. Picture it physically. The dog circling your side of the bed twice before lying down, pressing their nose into the fabric, exhaling slowly. That's not instinct. That's not conditioning. That's missing someone. Here's why it works that way. A dog's olfactory system connects directly into the limbic system, which is the brain's emotional center. Your scent doesn't just register as information. It triggers an actual emotional response. You comfort them, even when you're not there. Fact 4. They experience jealousy, and it looks exactly like you'd expect. There's a UC San Diego study where dogs watched their owners show affection to a realistic stuffed dog. The dogs pushed in. Some snapped at the stuffed dog. Most sought physical contact more aggressively right after. This isn't anecdotal. It's documented, repeatable, peer-reviewed, but pull it out of the lab and into your living room. The dog who wedges between you and your partner on the couch. The one who drops a toy directly onto your laptop the second you open it. The one who plants themselves on your feet the moment another dog walks by. We call it needy. We call it clingy. We call it being a lot. But what it actually is a being who values your attention enough to compete for it. That's not a flaw to manage. That's devotion wearing an inconvenient outfit. Fact 5. They form genuine grief, and it can last months. This one deserves full weight, no rushing through it. Dogs who lose a companion, human or animal, show documented grief responses. Reduced appetite, disrupted sleep, more vocalizing, less interest in play, withdrawal. These aren't metaphors we're using loosely. They're measurable behavioral changes with real neurological correlates behind them. An ASPCA survey found more than half of dogs showed 4 or more behavioral changes after losing a companion animal. But pull that out of the statistic. Picture the dog who checks the other dog's bed every morning for weeks after they're gone. The one who sits by the door at the exact time their person used to come home, even months later. They don't have language for what they're feeling. They can't tell us they're grieving. They can only show us in the way they move through a space that used to feel full and now doesn't. There's no fix for this part. No tidy solution. Just the acknowledgement that they feel it, fully, and that matters. That look I described at the start, your dog's eyes finding yours across a quiet room, no ask behind it, no agenda. There's actually a name for what's happening in that moment. When a dog holds eye contact with someone they love, both their brain and yours release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released between a mother and a newborn. They're not just looking at you, they're chemically bonding with you. Every single time. 5 facts? And every single one of them points to the same place. The dog at your feet right now isn't a simple creature running on instinct. They are feeling something, for you, specifically, right now. If this shifted something for you, share it with someone who loves their dog and needs to hear it.